many of you that are in here already know what my stances are on this stuff, so it doesn't really matter. But you know, it bears repeating, especially because it's probably going to be a YouTube video eventually. So, Ethan, a couple days ago, or I guess yesterday, technically, I don't know exactly when it was, but he said, or 20 hours ago, so yesterday, said, years ago, I interviewed Jordan Peterson before I was very familiar with his politics. He was an interesting guest who I enjoyed sitting with, but especially now I can see he's a dangerous gateway to alt-right, transphobia, and COVID misinfo. I removed both interviews today. So people got mad at him for doing this and said, you know, you're fucking piece of shit. And then they started getting into, this is pretty funny, but other than like this funny joke, people basically started getting into the same old rehashed arguments of like Jordan Peterson Defense Brigade. It was like live and alive, basically. Sometimes I feel like the thing that killed Jordan Peterson wasn't Michaela Peterson, you know, who tried to get him to get experimental benzo therapy, but actually just people not paying attention to him, because reactionaries have nothing. It wasn't the apple cider. It was the fact that, like, you know, he went away, so Democrats and liberals no longer paid attention to him. And I think that that is the reason why there was no brigade defending him anymore. You know what I mean? Because that is the only way that the right galvanizes. That is the only way that the right get together. Wait, what is this? Why did Bruce say this? I can't see the Keemstar tweet. I tried to look at it in incognito and it's not showing. Did he get him to delete it? Anyway, he said Bruce DM. So basically, oh, this is pretty funny, by the way. Jordan Peterson literally responded to him on this one too. He said, "Not anymore. It's now shiny, clean, and beautiful too, like the rest of my house. Now that I finished renovating and recovered from being ill." So a lot of people started defending Jordan Peterson out of nowhere. Like, people that had just fucking totally forgotten about him were like, actually, I remember all of the old takes. You know, I remember all the reasons why I love Jordan Peterson, and started fucking doing the same thing that they always do to Ethan whenever he says anything, okay? Whenever he says anything, it's like, dude, you're fat, shut the fuck up. Or, dude, you said the N-word, you said the F-word live on your show, shut the fuck up. It's like, dude, this is a deeply frustrating thing, and it's not just for Ethan. I know that people immediately will be like, you're rushing to defend your co-host or whatever the fuck. This is at the heart of what I believe in. This is why I do what I do. You guys already know this, but maybe there's some new people in here. But I personally believe that people have the capacity to change, okay? Ethan has said the N-word. Yeah, of course. I believe that people have the capacity to change, okay? Especially if they have changed. They've demonstrated that they've changed. They openly fucking apologized for what they have said. I said, of course, because, like, he's a fucking, yeah, he's a YouTuber. He's a YouTube Andy. He was like a fucking, he was on, like, the anti-HasanAbi pipeline. Like, you know what I mean? Okay? The point is, that's not who he is. You know what I mean? That's not who he is anymore. That's the point. And if you try to constantly pin people to who they were, then you are not interested in having productive conversations. You're not interested in being a real progressive. You are just still a very draconian, Amera-brained dickhead, okay? And a lot of people on the internet are like this. Liberals are like this. Stan Twitter is like this, and Republicans absolutely are like this. N-word equals comedy? That's not what I'm saying at all. I am not saying that it was acceptable. You know what my take on this is, okay? You know what my take on this is. Shut the fuck up. But also, that's Ethan's take as well. He knows it's unacceptable. So the fact that so many people are like, immediately, so many people were like, oh, you fucking deleted this clip? Well, then fuck you. Here's a video of you saying the N-word. You know? And it is so strange. It's so fucking strange that, like, you know, conservatives who have made a living constantly fucking writing video essays about how, like, shitty SJWs are. How shitty the leftists are for, you know, saying that there's no way to rehabilitate someone, that people are simply good or bad, okay? And that, you know, people lack the capacity to change, and constantly reducing them to their worst moments, okay? Like, if you're using shit from, like, 2014, 2015, 2016, when someone has already personally taken the steps to apologize and have very clearly shown you that they've changed, you're not actually interested in building a real argument. All you are interested in is to fucking take pot shots at someone and try to get other people on their side to hate that person. That's just simply it. I do not care. Okay? People will always say, oh, dude, you love cancel culture. You love cancel culture. You love cancel culture. It's like, no, I don't. Nobody loves cancel culture. I've gotten canceled more times than you have, 1,000%. Okay? I have gotten publicly canceled by the Republicans. I've gotten canceled by fucking Jake Tapper. I've gotten canceled by liberals. I've got canceled by everybody, okay? You're a fucking idiot. You're just a dumbass. But the most I've ever been canceled is obviously Republicans. Republicans have canceled me 1,000,000 times over. Okay? I get canceled at least twice a month? Exactly. I have been talking, one of the things I've been talking about for many, many years on this broadcast is my attitude on rehabilitation. If you've been in here for long enough, you already know this. This is something I've talked about 1,000,000 times over, about privilege blind spots and about rehabilitation. Okay? So seeing so many people be like, oh, dude, fuck, you know, this happened to Pokimane earlier this week. Now it's happening to Ethan. And it's happening all the time. And these people think that it actually works, but it doesn't work. Because most people understand that. Like, most people understand that people have the capacity to change. Okay? And that's precisely why it's not going to work. No one is going to fucking, you know, cancel Ethan for what he said however many years ago, when he clearly is not advocating for shit like that anymore and recognizes that it was wrong. You know what I mean? So what are you going to do? What do you want to do? You want to kill him? What do you want? You want to jail him, dude? You want to lock him up? You can't do anything. He's changed. What are you going to do? Too late. Sorry. You're too late. So that stuff is really fucking stupid. I hate it when the liberals do it. I hate it when the left does it. And I hate it when, you know, I hate it when he does it as well. When right-wingers do it as well, obviously. Funniest part about right-wing weirdos is their constant need to bring up old shit that people have apologized for years after they have clearly changed. Just because you're incapable of changing doesn't mean others aren't. Self-reflection and growth is at the heart of progress. As I've said time and time again. I also have talked before about privileged blind spots. These people love making a killing, shitting on cancel culture and SJW behavior, only to weaponize old clips in the most cynical ways possible. Everyone who's spent enough time on my stream knows people's attitudes. Changing is a huge part of my advocacy. So everybody has privileged blind spots. And we are products of our systems, right? Everyone has privileged blind spots. We are products of the material and social conditions that we are subjected to. Okay? And those those attitudes that we grow up with change our understanding of the world. And if you as a leftist understand that we live in a very racist and very homophobic, very bigoted societal structure, very transphobic, then you understand why people are that way, right? So this is something that I care about. I believe that a lot of people can change that attitude, re-examine, self-reflect, and recognize that that's wrong and change that behavior. That is at the heart of everything I do in this community. That is at the heart of what I believe in. That is precisely why. Don't you get tired fighting Ethan's battles for him? I do not give a shit about Ethan Klein in this circumstance. I care more about this is a trending subject that is completely in my fucking personal universe of thought. This is like Hasanist thought to a T. Okay? Ethan can fight his own battles. He has a gigantic community who loves him, and they're doing a great job regardless. The reason why I'm covering this and the reason why I'm talking about this is because it's a good opportunity to teach people what I personally believe in. Okay? What is this Jordan Peterson ratio, this clown? Anyway. Riding party waves are fun, but that's all said. But that said all to yourself is something else you'll always meet back in the lineup. I don't know what that is. Anyway, as I was saying, it's very easy to just be like, "Oh, dude, you're doing this because of Ethan." It's like, no, this is a trending subject, and that's precisely why I'm covering it. But that doesn't mean I'm covering it because I want to defend Ethan. I'm covering it because this is what I believe in. If you look up like, okay, here I just Googled privilege blind spots cancel culture. HasanAbi talks cancel culture 11 months ago. HasanAbi reacts to cancel culture. Is there another way? 5 months ago. Cancel culture HasanAbi 1 month ago. Like, I'm willing to bet that I will play whatever the fuck I play from a year ago, from 5 years ago. Woke Bay not so woke cancel culture cultural appropriation rant from 3 years ago. And you will hear the exact same things I've been saying for many, many, many years. But the only difference is that people refuse to hear what my perspective is on this matter and immediately say, you're a leftist, you love cancel culture, leftists love cancel culture. Okay? I have always been consistent on my attitude on cancel culture, what I believe in.
That's the best way to describe it, okay?
Sure.
He was referencing the Tyler, the Creator calls himself that. I just don't, I don't know what the deal is. I didn't look into it, to be honest. Like, I didn't look into it because I've just been mourning John McCain. I've been watching the funeral live stream over and over again, crying. You know, thinking about how, you know, John McCain represented just radical centrism. Not really, but, you know, that's what a lot of people want to think. So, yeah, I've just been so distraught over John McCain's grave. Yeah, it's a little ridiculous at this point. It's like, all right, dude, you know. Anyway, Eminem has said it a lot before too, though. Well, I mean, I think back when Eminem said it a lot, it was like debated as to. I mean,
we're talking about the F word. Tyler, the Creator, apparently used the F word or something.
That doesn't make it right, but let's remember what the culture was like back then, right? It was definitely a lot more different than now. And people were like trying to have a conversation as to whether it was even like contextually like anti-gay as a slur. It was, of course, and like I said, as a collective we decided that it was bad, and even back then people knew that it was bad. But I still remember the South Park episode, you know what I mean? Like, not saying that the South Park episode is important, but it provides a cultural reference point, you know, to give you an understanding of whether or not this is considered hate speak at the time. There was an entire episode dedicated to whether to the F word not being considered a hate slur, that you can be gay and an F word, but mostly it has nothing to do with being gay, blah blah blah, all that stuff. You know what I mean? So, like Eminem was a, I mean, he said a lot of, he said a lot worse things than that too. I mean, he very graphically.
Okay, we're skipping this part. It's 43 minutes and it's not fucking edited, but
It's not necessarily defensive. It seems like it's offensive most of the time, and that's what I think a lot of people have a hard time getting on board with call out culture. You know what I mean? Not like I said, I'm not even saying that it's bad across the board. Like a lot of people have a hardline stance to that. A lot of people have a hardline stance against canceling people, all this stuff. A lot of you have a hardline stance for canceling people, you know? Privately, it is more of a caring conversation, absolutely. Thank you, Jojo J-Ro. Yeah,
but for the record, I had like, I don't know, like fucking 30 people in here at this point, or like maybe 100 people.
Somewhat dangerous and somewhat an aspect, an element of the left that definitely deserves a little bit more of a.
Here, I'm just going to reduce it to this, okay? Are you ready? Cancel culture is conducted by both sides of, or all sides of the ideological spectrum. Nobody gives a shit. They just weaponize it against who the fuck they hate, okay? There are understandable efforts to deplatform certain people that are actually incredibly harmful, causing misinformation, yada, yada, yada. Deplatforming works. Obviously, look at Milo, look at Alex Jones. Deplatforming has actually worked tremendously well on them. However, as far as cancel culture goes, everybody does it. It's fucking annoying. Everybody hates it. Especially worse when someone is pulling out old shit, okay, that you no longer believe. That's idiotic to bring up old shit that you no longer believe if you are canceling someone for what their current position is, okay? If the old shit that they've said also corresponds to their current position, then that's understandable. If someone is racist 10 years ago and they're still racist now, then that makes sense. But if someone is racist 10 years ago and not racist now and anti-racist as a matter of fact, and you are the fucking racist Groiper account on Twitter being like, I can't believe you said the N-word. How curious. It's like, motherfucker, I just looked at your profile. You're saying the N-word on your profile right now. Numerous times. You are a literal Nazi and you're trying to fucking act like you're offended and shocked that someone said the fucking N-word, dude. Anyway. So, that shit blows my fucking mind. It makes me blow a goddamn gasket, okay? It's very, very frustrating. Oh. I hate it.